KTBB Friday Morning News Time 7:50. Garth Mayer, the whole crew with you on a finally Friday. As we do every Friday at this time, we check in with KTBB owner, General Manager Paul Gleiser. And you tell me what's on your mind, sir.
Good morning, Garth. We are sponsored by KE Cellars, Tyler's Old World Style Boutique Winery in the French Quarter on South Broadway across from the mall. Before we get started, let's review some things from the You Tell Me User's Manual. Many of you were kind enough to stop me and tell me that you enjoy these commentaries, and if that's true, then join the conversation. This is a dialogue, not a lecture. You can post your comments at ktbb.com/youtellme. That's actually why we picked the name. You can share these commentaries with your social network via Facebook and Twitter. You can subscribe to our posts so that you don't miss anything. You can watch and share the video of these broadcasts via the embedded YouTube video. All of these tools are available at ktbb.com/youtellme. Remember this howler from Vice President Joe Biden?
The recovery package, everybody's talking about it it's over. The truth is now we're spending more now this summer. I'm calling this the summer of recovery.
Yeah, whatever, Joe. Stammer away. The fact that you can't spit it out clearly makes me think that you don't really believe it, which is, in an odd sort of way, a relief. Given a choice, I prefer a vice president who is ridiculously political to one who's completely delusional, which is what you'd have to be if you thought in late July, when Biden said this, or if you think now that any sort of meaningful economic recovery is underway. And by the way, can you imagine the media reaction if George W. Bush had said the same thing? According to a Reuters Ipsos poll from this week, 72% of Americans say they are very concerned about jobs. And why not? It's hard to imagine doing more to kill off economic recovery and job growth than the Obama administration has done since taking office. Let's just look at a few examples. Thousands of employees that once worked at profitable auto dealerships across the country lost their jobs when the Obama administration effectively nationalized most of the American auto industry. That's because under government supervision, GM and Chrysler shuttered hundreds of hitherto profitable dealerships, and meanwhile commercial lenders were given a cautionary tale when Obama rolled over secured bondholders in order to minimize pain to, and thus curry favor with, union auto workers. Millions of families that make their mortgage payments on time are watching the values of their homes decline, in part because the federal government refuses to quit monkeying around in the home mortgage business. The administration's Home Affordable Mortgage Program, known as HAMP, is an unqualified disaster that isn't helping delinquent borrowers, but is putting off the reckoning that must come in the housing market if values are ever to stabilize and start rising again. Employers are figuring out that Obamacare is filled with landmines. We talked about one of them, the tax filing mandate. They will have every business owner in America issuing thousands of 1099 forms to essentially every vendor with whom they do business. Or how about the fact that effective in January, the premiums that employers pay for employee health care will constitute taxable income to the employee? Then there's the 23,000 oil field workers idled in the wake of the BP oil spill because of Obama's arbitrary moratorium on deepwater drilling. Oh, and then there's the staggering debt. Time precludes a more thorough listing, but you get the point. And yet, while all this is happening in plain sight, we get to hear good old Joe Biden yammering on about jobs that have been created or saved and his summer of recovery that never was. Some very smart economic historians have said that the crash of 1929 would not have become a decade-long depression if it hadn't been for the horrendous interventions of both Hoover and Roosevelt. Similarly, the miracle that is the American economy will recover and prosper on its own if only those with the power to do so in Washington will get out of its way. That's my word. What's yours? Go to ktbb.com/youtellme. And you tell me, have you tried the Keepersall Estates 2007 Shiraz? Well, what are you waiting for? You may have heard me mourning the passing of my beloved 2006 Cabernet, but I must tell you, I'm dealing with the grief rather well with the help of this lovely Shiraz. The Shiraz grape is the most popular wine grape in Australia, a pretty good winemaking province itself, by the way. It's bold and rich and versatile. It goes particularly well with broiled meat and meat grilled outdoors, but it's also great company in front of the TV or alone with a good book. The Keepersall Estates 2007 Shiraz is fine evidence of the coming of age of the Keepersall Winery, and thus I urge you to visit KE Cellars today after work for a taste. You can do that because KE Cellars is a working winery with a tasting room. Try any wine in the collection before you buy it. You cannot make a mistake. KE Cellars, Tyler's Old World Style Boutique Winery in the French Quarter on South Broadway across from the mall. And online at KECellars.com.
Hi, this is